And here we go. There's a little bit of music. Good morning, good morning. I'm Rabbi Brian, says so somewhere on my screen. There it is. Good morning, welcome. Today is the 23rd of April, 2022. Glad you're here. You might be watching by Facebook. You might be watching afterwards on YouTube. You might be one of the people, hold on, who's live here with me. There's all the people who are here live with me. People who are live here with me, wave, say hi, give the person above you, below you, high five.
Hi.
Hi. Hi there.
Glad you guys are all here. Hi, Linda. Hi, Patty and Ray. Glad you guys are all made it. I just had a moment. That I was like, you shouldn't be this calm. Like, I just had this instant panic of, you don't know what you're doing. You ought to be panicking, and I'm feeling that. So let me take a little breath of air. Oh, and
I think everybody's feeling the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take a breath of air, and maybe you need to take a breath of air too. So let's take a moment and just present ourselves. You know, slow it down for a moment. I'm reading books. Carol Ox recommended the book about time. I've been reading books all about time. And boy, do we all...
About time.
Thank you. That's what the book was called, actually.
Somebody had to say it.
And he ended a chapter with a thought about time that just quaked me. He says, time implies order.
Avol.
Right? Time implies order.
Seder.
Yeah, actually the word in Hebrew for Seder means order. But it's the time, that you know what time it is, that it feels like it's something reliable. And that we can feel more comforted by it. But we're all aware of the trying to get more things. They only started on docking people's pay for non-work when they discovered the minute hand on a clock. It's amazing. So I want to just take a moment just to see if we can't re-regulate time in our heads to allow for a little bit more spaciousness and to open up a bit. I have a few things to review from last week, so let me pull this camera up. Okay, folks, here, hi, it's me. It's like this. I hear sometimes, and we're going to do small breakout groups today, and I hear after I do the breakout groups, I hear often the comment, well, we needed more time, or we had way too much time. And I'd like you to think about the following analogy. This service is a bus. It might not stop in front of your house. If you are expecting the bus to be a limousine, that's on you.
That's right.
That is a great analogy right there.
The bus doesn't stop directly in front of your house. It might also be I'm talking about more than just this service. Okay, I think we've learned something already today, so we're halfway done. A few other announcements, thoughts. I talked with Al. I don't know if Al is on screen right yet, but I talked with Al after the service, and Al had helped me. We're going to be muting a few people. I do love to have everyone.
There's Al. He's there.
Hi, Al.
There he is.
There are a few extra microphones that are being picked up, and so if you get muted, it's nothing personal. Don't take it. It's just there's an extra sound happening, and you can unmute yourself so that you can participate again. It's not like a punishment, right? It's just there was extra noise on your line, and please don't take that personally. I called Al after last week's service, and we were chatting, and I said, Al, I've hit the metric that I had been going for, which is, and we are celebrating today. Hey, look, there are balloons behind me. We are see the balloons? We're celebrating 2 years. It's about 2 years. We've got 104 Saturday services, and the first ones were a little bit more like this. I actually had a quiz. This book of the Bible, discovered in a cleansing of the temple hundreds of years late, which uses distinctly different language and repeats a lot of the laws in the first 4 books of Moses, is called Deuteronomy in English. But it was like, what am I doing? That was 2 years ago. And Al and Kip and Maria and Joe and Alex and Hugh and Afia, who have all... My God, people, you think this thing just comes together, and it does, kind of, sort of, in its own way, but that's after a lot of work goes into it, and the people who I just mentioned, I need to publicly thank, because that's my team, and they helped me to keep this going, and Al, who I mentioned as well. And I said, Al, I hit the metrics we said. Because how do you run a religious service? Like, how do you know a religious service is successful? And obviously, the way you know that a religious service is successful is by the number of people who show up. That's not true, right? It's an easy thing to measure, but that doesn't mean that you're doing a good job. How do you know a religious service is doing well? Well, there are more donations in the basket this week than last week. Okay, well, that's not exactly a great metric either. So Al helped me to come up with some matrices, which is an odd plural of the word matrix. Metrics. I'm sorry, Matrix was the Keanu Reeves movie. Metrics.
Yeah,
is the one we're going for. And we came up with a metric of me feeling calm before and during the service. And thought, well, that...
And after.
After too. I'll take after too. But that I wasn't feeling rushed, that I was feeling like calm about it. And compared to a year ago, and if you watch any of on the playlist, go back a year, you'll see it was a lot less what it is now. And so I called Al. I said, Al, I hit the metric. All right, let's find a new metric and we can go for that one. And as I'm saying it, I start laughing hysterically. Because what am I doing? Trying to make a harder metric now that I just accomplished the one that I have done. Is that some knowing laughter? Anybody recognize that in themselves as you hit a goal?
Oh, yeah.
And as soon as you hit the goal, let me see your hands up if this is true for you. As soon as you hit the goal, you're like, oh, I better make the game harder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that reasonable?
Let me ask you a
In
very...
every way, getting better and better.
Yeah, then you just keep growing. Otherwise, you stop growing.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Robin. Not disagreeing.
I just love the tone with which you said that. Like, duh, isn't that the next thing to do?
And I asked, let me ask a Dr. Phil question.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Phil, and I don't know who you're allowed to quote these days and not, but I think he's still in our quotable list of people to, right? He hasn't done anything egregious enough to have been canceled? Okay, good.
Not yet.
Okay, so Dr. Phil said this question. How's that working for you?
Yeah.
Pretty well.
Good. So then don't change it. But if the answer to the question, how's that working for you, and the answer includes, I'm exhausted from kicking my own ass to self-improve all the fucking time,
Yeah.
then maybe you want to change something.
Amen.
Or if it makes you feel inadequate all the time.
Or if it makes you feel inadequate all the time, don't do it. But of course, yes, keep growing, keep growing, keep growing. But there might be for some of us, hey, let's take a little plateau, catch our
Fair
breath
enough.
for a bit.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Again, individual
That's
results.
just the
may-
fourth week.
Okay. I didn't understand that, Rob.
Because you have services, you have a newsletter every week, except you take 1 week off a month.
Right.
So every fourth week.
Good. So the newsletter, the 40 out of 52 week a year news.
There
It
you
doesn't
go.
work out one every 4 weeks. Just because of the calendar. I think this year, instead of it being 40 Mondays, we have 41 Mondays. I'm like, hey, that's not fair. It ruins my newsletter.
It's a plot.
So you get to take an extra week off.
I'm going to challenge myself to do that, Rob.
Please.
Yeah. Hey, I have a question, folks. When you hear Rob challenge me and say, I'm going to switch to the Zoom screen. There we are. When you hear Rob challenge me, hey, Rabbi, take an extra week off. I'm all right with it. How many of you think, yeah, sure, Rabbi, go ahead, go do that? Yeah. And how many, if it was given to you, would you think you earned it enough to take an extra week off? Some of you, about half the number from before. Okay, thank you for sharing. I want to make a movie review. I don't often do this. This movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, if you've not seen it, it is, well, it's a kung fu comedy sci-fi masterpiece. Anyone find it odd for me to promote a movie that I really enjoyed? Anyone?
No.
No.
Not really.
Okay, now I'm
No,
going
why
to
not?
jump you to the last step of this. Hey, you like the newsletter? Tell your friends. Hey, you enjoy what you're getting here out of this service? Tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
There's something that happens when it becomes oh my God, the word rabbi's in there. It's a religious thing where we feel a little bit sketchy. I get that. But I can think of it as just you're sharing the name of a movie that you like. While we're doing reviews, okay, last week we had a beautiful discussion about mourning. We talked a bit about ring theory, which is this idea of, can you remember there were two phrases that went along with it, is here was our mourner.
Dump out, comfort in.
Yeah, that whoever's at the center, thank you, Betsy. And if you don't speak up, if you're new and you're like, wow, that was neat. How did he know that was Betsy? Was that Betsy?
It was.
Yes, it was.
Betsy is because she shares and she's involved. And so I know her voice a little bit by now. If you've never shared before, maybe take today as a challenge round. You don't have to, but go ahead. Or if you want to share something in the chat, Joe is our chat. Also, she's going to send out a lot of emojis because she always does. I'm going to get back out to the dump out in a second. Anyone?
Expressive lady, and it's wonderful.
It is wonderful. And this is going to tie into later. So somebody remind me about Joe and the emojis later at about 8:45 when we're up to that. So it's dump out. Whoever's on the inside of the circle is allowed to dump out their feelings. Who's ever on the outer edge is supposed to comfort in. And we talked about how it's awkward when that doesn't happen. And Alex, you gave an example on Tuesday about quilting buddy of your mom's. Can you share with us what the quilting buddy, who's obviously like, here's you it's your mom who died. Here's quilting buddy somewhere outside of that. And quilting buddy said to you,
basically, I've been criticized by, because I didn't, that I wasn't feeling, at least appearing to feel as sad as they were. And let me pull up this. Let me find the quote for you.
So do you get that Alex wasn't seeming to look as upset as the person outside of her was? Okay.
Yeah. So
the or thought she should be.
Yeah.
The quote was this. She said, "Honestly, Alex, give me a break. Your mom died 2 days ago. It may not be the devastating event like it is for me."
Right.
Wow.
Wow.
So what we came up with, well, two things.
Oops. No.
All right. What we came up with was two things. One, and I'm going to ask you to repeat this phrase back, everyone, after I say it, because it's the kind of thing that you're going to want to practice the same way Boy Scouts practice lighting fires in good conditions so that when it's adverse conditions, they still know how to light a fire. Like, you can't just learn how to light a fire in adverse conditions. So repeat this phrase after I say it so you can learn it in good conditions. The phrase is, hey, do you realize what you're saying is a bit rude?
Hey, do you realize what you're saying?
What you're saying is a
bit
rude.
Yeah, hey.
Realize what you're saying is a bit rude.
Do you realize what you're saying
What you're
is
saying
a bit rude?
It's a bit rude.
Rude.
And it opens it up
Yes.
as a question.
What you're saying is a bit rude.
Yeah. Can you imagine that might be a phrase that we can say when somebody breaks this circle? Hey, do you realize what you just said is a bit rude? And it takes it out of being personal. You're not saying you are rude. Hey, do you realize what you're saying is a bit rude? Okay.
Maybe try. I would be very uncomfortable saying rude.
Okay.
That just, the word itself.
So give me a different phrase. How would you like to say it?
Insensitive.
Hey, do you realize what you're saying is a bit insensitive? Yeah, I like that better.
Yes,
like
that's
that.
better.
Okay.
That's
I like
better.
that.
And that's why
And
we practice in off times.
And I would
I like-
say it wasn't very helpful.
Hey, do you realize what you were saying isn't really helping?
Yeah, no kidding.
That's good.
Okay.
That's a good one.
But aren't we supposed to say it to me? It's not helpful to me, or
Okay,
it hurts
add that
me?
in. Okay, sure. I love that, Sarah.
That's, or you might say, you might not realize it, but I felt hurt by that comment.
That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Betsy.
Yeah.
I like it just straight up.
Okay, everyone gets to pick and choose their own interpretation of it. Kip, you had your hand for a second.
No, that's good.
Okay. I'm going to ask at this time for us to turn our thoughts to people we want to lift our thoughts up for. Now, I'm deliberately not calling it let's take a minute of prayer time because what that makes it sound like to my ear is that that's the time that we're praying as opposed to the other times, what are we doing now? And I don't think of it, what we're about to do, as the only time that we're praying. That's like saying, any which way. Joe, would you read the list of names that we want to share as a community?
I would be honored. This week's list is Derek, Rita, Jeff and Kathleen Brooks, Lauren L., Lauren N., Addie, Francis, the Lee household, Alex, Maria, April, Patricia Barlow, Kip, Ukraine and Russia, Nain and her family, Gary Madden, Marilyn, Carol, Aaron Chang, Bonnie Crane, World Leaders, Mark, Daniel, Joshua, Eileen, and Maggie.
Well, let's take a minute of time. I have a clock right above me. Let's do it from when we get to 30 seconds and just take a minute of thought. Okay. A thought related to the rings and how to find comfort and how to brace yourself for when somebody says something really insensitive when you're mourning is it's a game where you flip it on its head and you take anytime someone says something offensive, you write it down and you have some dear friend who you can bring that to and say, oh my God, I just heard the most offensive thing. And if you play it more as a game, like you're going to win a contest when someone says something offensive to you, it can take a little bit of the sting out. And if you want, just go over to the Religion Outside the Box Clubhouse. Alex put a link in there. And just say, someone just tried to comfort me with the words blankety, 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 blank, blank. Isn't that ridiculous? And just and you'll get love and support for having been scorned. Seems like
I think I won this week's contest on that.
And nobody wants to compete. Yeah. I'm glad. I'm sorry you won, Alex. Let me bring us to. That's the worst comfort. I want to do a quick new teaching, something that I haven't taught before. And I picked this up. I did it in the Tuesday group. I don't think, now I'm confused. Did we do resentment and disappointment?
Bad here.
Okay, let's do resentment and disappointment. And I'm resentment and disappointment. I got this from Brene Brown, and in Brene Brown's newest book, Atlas of the Heart. It's a lovely book. It just doesn't. It's not a reader. It's a reference book, and she did a great HBO Max 5-part series talking about concepts from the book, and she mentions this tiny little thing. It's kind of glossed over, but she talks about at some point when she had 2 rings and she would have the rings on her finger and she would ask herself, let me share this screen, hold on for a second, wrong button. She would ask herself, now disappoint. She would ask herself, would I rather disappoint someone right now? They've asked me to work a second shift. They want me to translate their ketubah from Aramaic into English. Do I want to disappoint them now? Or do I want to do the thing and pay for it with resentment later? I couldn't get the matzahs. I learned about disappointment from Kim. Kim was supposed to, we have this thing. We've been making matzahs together for years. she couldn't make the matzahs this year. There was a COVID scare and they can't all work in the bakery at the same time, so she had to not make the matzah. And I said, Kim, you seem all right with. She said, I have learned that disappointment's not that bad.
Mm.
And then I got to practice and send an email to everyone who had bought up. We were down to 4 boxes of matzah left, and I hadn't even really opened up the sales to the general public. We sold all the matzah out, and I had to tell everyone, I'm sorry, we don't have it. And one person was pissed. Well, the one person actually went back on the website, ordered another box of matzah, and then emailed me and said, Rabbi, you lied. They still are available. And I had to say, thank you for telling me that I hadn't updated the website. I had forgotten about it. So, I can disappoint someone now, or I can do the thing for them and pay for it later. Looking back over your life ledger sheet, has anyone seen any examples where the price and resentment, because resentment one sometimes has a little bit of an interest payment and a late fee.
Yeah.
And it would have been easier had you done this one?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
So she would take her 2 rings and she would say this, when someone's asking me something, can I take a break and count out which one I would rather do? I came up with this phrase that I like. I don't want to disappoint you, but neither do I want to face possible future resentment about the thing you just asked of me. Can we discuss it? I don't want to disappoint you, but neither do I want to harbor future resentment for having said yes to something I didn't want to say yes to. Can we discuss this thing you just asked of me? Okay. If this is your first time at a Saturday service, I'm glad that you are here. We are going to be breaking out into small groups, into breakout groups of about 5 people, and we will have 6 minutes. Folks, I think you already know, you might have to walk after you get off the bus or walk to get to the bus. The timing might not be exactly perfect. I'm certain there won't be complaints about that today.
We'll resent it.
Yes. And Rita, you won't fail to disappoint. So we're going to break into small groups, and I want you to share one of 2 things. Either, and if it's your first time, we just learned about resentment and disappointment, and we learned about how to take some of the sting out of someone comforting badly. If you have nothing else, you can use those 2. But I would love you to share in the small group, what is something that you learned in coming to these services? An extra credit if you can bring back something, a good old gem. What is something you learned? Or if you can get to this next one, I like this answer better. I like this. I will like, anyway. Extra points for the next one. How have you acted differently since coming to this service? You've been coming to this service for however long, and you've noticed, I've noticed that I blankety blank now. Keeping in mind that you have other people who have time to share as well. So please, you're going to go into small groups. If you're on the phone, you're going to be instantly transferred into a small group. There's no way to avoid that. I'm going to thank you. Questions before you get launched into your little groups? So here come small groups, and we'll be coming back in 6 minutes' time.
Oh.
Hi, Christina. Hi, Greg. Hi, Ann.
Hi.
Hi, Jesse and Vi. And hi, Leanne. Alex. I always get a little confused in this group of, did you want to go to the small group? Because Alex can move you there.
I think most of the people who are here are on listen only.
Oh, we still got Greg. Hi, Greg.
Greg, do you want me to move you to a room?
Sure.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so you should see a thing on your screen and then you just accept the invitation. There we go.
Is there a group that's only got like 3 people in it?
Looks like we've got one that's ended up with 2.
Drop me in there, would you?
Okay.
And then you have the timer?
I have the timer.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm trying to find you on the list though. This is weird.
Oh, I guess I could do that too.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to go to room, let me check which one it is.
9.
Yeah, room 9.
Yeah, it's on the west side of the bridge for miles.
Yeah.
Hi, gang.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I
Hey.
join room 9?
Oh, sure.
Good.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to think about.
What have you
What I've
learned, or
learned.
how are you different?
And how are we different?
I can answer. I'm less anxious now than I was. I'm much more. I'm much more.
I am.
Yeah, well, I can tell. I mean, that's it's observable. You know, when I know the feeling, and but
What's
I don't know,
something you've learned, or something that how you've changed?
well, I feel the capability to be more self-evaluating. You know, in a non-critical way, but like.
Oh, I like the way you say that. Say self-evaluate, like I think mindful.
Yeah, mindful is a good one.
Yeah.
And then along those same lines, I've been really studying brain neurology by basically the left hemisphere and the ego and the shadow side and all that stuff. I mean, that's really Jill Taylor. If you've read anything by Jill Taylor, that's a good read. And she has another book out now called Whole Brain Living.
She did a TED Talk, one of the first TED Talks I ever saw.
Who?
Jill Taylor did a TED Talk that's...
Jill Taylor. Oh, yeah, Jill Taylor. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just saw that recently, and I read her book years ago, but her TED Talk was really impressive.
Yeah.
But
Emily, how about you, Emily? What have you learned?
Where I am now and acting differently and feeling so much differently, and there's sort of a settledness that I'm okay just the way I am, and I'm not going to go to hell. I'm not going to burn up forever.
A settledness to how you are.
To how I am, that I'm just fine the way I am.
And
not only that, my children are just fine the way they are. They're,
That's huge.
Yeah.
You know what word
It's
comes
nice
to mind? It sounds like acceptance.
Yeah, acceptance. Yeah. When I got over when I got over that hurdle, and it was a really breakthrough that I realized, and this may not mean anything to anybody else, but when I got through that hurdle, I realized I'm not a Christian and it's okay.
Right.
I'm not a born again Christian. I am okay just the way I am.
I love that.
Yeah. Love that. And it's okay. Just where I don't know what I am, but that's fine.
You can just be.
I like being out here in that space.
You know what else I've seen, Emily, in the last year is I've seen your ability to share go up. Like you talk more in the group.
Yeah.
Especially the And you're not afraid to just be who you are.
Yeah. So that's who I'm that way more. I'm different.
I like that.
And I like that. And by the way, I do like this business of resentment and disappointment, and I adopted that. Right, it was very helpful.
Right, I thought the same thing. I was like, why
Yes,
did I
in
not
fact,
hear
I
this a
used
long
it.
time ago?
Yeah, I used it right away with my son. And it had to do with the puppy, because I really did not want to disappoint my son in getting this puppy that he brought me. And I had the same, so I wrote him a note about it. I didn't want to feel resentment, and I can't have this puppy right now.
That's
And
fantastic, and it worked out.
And it was very clear. He was very clear with it. He didn't want me to resentment to come up either, and he's perfectly happy to deal with it and come get the puppy.
It's fantastic. I'm gonna close up our room. Thank you guys for letting me join you.
Sure.
Somebody new, Virginia. I don't know if I've met you.
Oh, we've met.
Oh, I've been here on and off for a number of years. I usually have my camera off though because, like as you can see, still in my robe. So
That's great. I'm still in my nightie and
Some-
right?
Different people have different senses of decorum. Some of us will eat on the screen. Some of us don't think it's proper to eat on screen. That's right.
And we all fit together like a Picasso.
That's exactly well put.
Yeah, I was sharing that with you.
So let me welcome everybody back. I think we closed up the rooms.
Rooms are closed. Yes.
Yes, you
I
did.
do want to add here's a comment from our friend Patsy, who's on Facebook. She says, not in the small groups watching. I feel much more accepting of myself. The love in this group is amazing. I feel safe. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What else did we hear? What else, if you want to share from your group, something that you, not something you heard, but something else that is from your heart, something that you've learned, something that in 2 years has changed?
To me, this is a big family.
And what have you learned? How does the large family feel? What's that?
Well, yeah. To me, a family should be a place where you can share your thoughts and be whom you are, without people pointing fingers at you. Just accepting you as you are.
Amen. And Shmuley, I want to get that's going to be at 8:45. In a few minutes, we're going to get exactly to that. I want to get exactly back to that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Okay.
How else have we...
Yeah.
What else is different? Emily, you were in my group, and I loved what you said. Would you mind sharing it?
I just feel like I'm okay just the way I am. I don't have to be anything different than I am. I don't have to be any smarter or any funnier or anything else. I'm just okay the way I am.
Right. We'll get more to that too, but isn't that beautiful?
Our group had some neat ideas too.
Go ahead, Michael.
We were just talking about the idea of reflection and looking at ourselves as part of being human, but it's an optional thing that we don't all do. So we kind of have a community of reflection here. You know, we're learning about looking at ourselves.
Yes.
Yes, and I don't have to have the burden of being a Christian anymore, and I'm okay.
Yeah, we love you anyway.
So there's something that, and maybe I'll just get. Is there anyone else who's got a burning they want to share out after the breakout room? So one
of the things I didn't think about, and it's come to me since, is it's wonderful that we have youth in our group, because sometimes they give us a perspective that we older people have forgotten or never knew.
Yeah. I think the age part goes all around. Like, it's nice to see people who are in our same cohort, and it's nice to see people who are in a different group. and that our ability to speak past those artificial division of age, that we shouldn't be able to hear from each other. We don't need that.
And in our group, we talked about kindness, including being kinder to ourselves.
How many of us? Yeah. Can we get an amen on that one?
Amen.
On that one.
I've been doing that one, right?
Yeah.
Y'all been doing that too, and that's what I want to. That's where I want us to go to right now, in talking. The point. This is a laboratory. This is an experiment. This is a place for us to see what happens if we are vulnerable, if we put ourselves out there. Most of you who are on the screen are people who have spoken and talked and said things in a large group of people they don't know, and somehow come out the other side still alive, feeling safe. And I'd say even more, that the more there's some mathematic formula going on, that the more vulnerable people have been, the more we tend to like them.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
And I think we had a big face of that last week and the week before, in realizing we had lost Nikki. We missed Nikki because she allowed herself to be herself in this group. And for us to practice being vulnerable and open, not to share everything, because there's also therapy.
Yeah.
But there's something about, there's a power in a large group where we can share and still feel safe. I think that's revolutionary for a lot of people. We don't get to feel safe with a group. So I want to go back to, I said about how many people here are offended and upset by, and the answer is probably no one, by Joe's incessive use of emoticons and emojis?
Yeah, I like it.
No, I like it.
Like it.
Why? Why do you like it? Because it's annoying as hell, ain't it?
No, she's being herself.
Wait. What was that? No, why was it not annoying?
She's being herself.
Absolutely.
Right?
I love emojis myself. So.
Me too.
But
it brings joy.
And
I find it kind of fun.
Things
It's
without
kind of like a little hug thing.
Yes.
You know, I like that.
But it's
Just be
also
lucky she's
because
using emojis appropriately, RB. If she's starting to stick purple eggplant across the screen, then I get a little worried.
I'm going to flip this. I'm going to ask to flip it on its head a little bit, or maybe sideways. We love it because we love Joe.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Because if there were someone else on this thread who polluted with so many, we get it. 4 hearts are enough.
Well,
I don't know.
So I'm going back to the Irving Becker quote. If you dislike someone, the way they hold their spoon will offend you. But if you like them, they could drop 1,000 emojis in the middle of a text and you'd find it endearing.
Mm-hmm.
So if it starts with it's because we like Joe, how do you know you like Joe? You just do.
The emojis.
That gets a little circular. I'm saying we started with liking Joe first. My kids, when they were little, it always amazed me. We go to a playground, and they would know who they wanted to play with. I'm like, but you didn't ask for resumes. We like Joe because we like Joe. Part of why we like Joe is because Joe's not afraid to just be Joe.
Yeah.
And there's something beautiful and authentic of Joe's just being Joe.
She may be afraid, but she still does it.
And yes. And here's what I want to ask of you guys. I want to ask you, because, we're 2 years in. I got candles. We got to celebrate. Ta-da. 2-year anniversary.
Beautiful.
Hold on. There we go. See how this works. It is 2 years that we've been running these services. Come on. There we go. It's an odd angle you get on the cake.
It's like a very high-five cake.
It is a, hold on, I'll show you what. It is a block of styrofoam dressed up in purple cardboard.
Very elegant.
We'll see how far the candles go down before the place bursts into flames.
It's
and toxic fumes with the styrofoam. A bonus.
That's a cake that's built to
I am delighted to be doing this for 2 years. And I want to commit to doing it for another year. I'm not sure I want to commit to doing much more than that at this moment. And I want to ask you, in some way, think about how you're committed to this group too, and what you're willing. And I don't mean that it means you have to come every week or that you have to host donuts or you have to do things. But I want to ask you if you can commit to going deeper, being more vulnerable, being more you. And I'm going to ask for one other part. Can you commit to being kinder?
To be
kinder.
Yes, I can.
Can you
Yes.
commit to being kinder?
Powerful.
To ourselves as well.
Amen.
Oh, whoa. We'll kick back.
Amen.
We'll slow down. Slow the fuck down, Emily.
Got a challenge, Rabbi.
Uh-oh.
To be kinder, including to ourselves.
Yes.
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 Especially to
Amen.
ourselves.
Yeah. Amen.
I think a lot of the hatred we see in the world comes from covering up pain.
Yes.
So if you're kinder to yourself, that means that you're not going to be distracted from some of that pain. And you might have to sit through some of the pain. And I'm going to ask you in this, our 2-year anniversary party, are you willing to sit through? Some of it's going to be really uncomfortable because getting angry and being in a rush really cover up a lot of defaults, a lot of bumps. You willing to sit through a little bit more discomfort?
Yes.
Good. What else are you willing to commit to? I don't know what the answers are going to be. This part, we're going off script.
To look at whether you want something or you need something.
That's a great thing to look at. And
Good
you can
point.
cut down on your Amazon purchases by thinking about that a little bit. You don't need that thing tomorrow. What else? What else?
I wonder how hard this is to admit to yourself that you're hard on yourself.
It's a good question, Michael.
That is my God.
Wait, Michael, I got a question.
Yeah.
On a scale of like 1 to 10, how hard are you on yourself? Like average?
Well, 7 is coming up, but I got a 9 or 10.
Okay, so you're somewhere in the 7 to
coming down.
7 to 9 range.
I would say 7. Yeah, I don't want to admit that.
No. None of us are hearing you
a
say
little
it. That's
ashamed
fine.
of the degree.
Yeah.
That's really. but I think it's coming down, and I think that's why I'm here, lying down.
Good for you.
And just taking it in,
I love it.
and just being part of the emotional field here. This is an emotional field.
Yeah.
And it's volatile.
Is there any self-judgment about laying down?
Not so much, no.
Good, because none of us care.
No, I know. I wouldn't. No, I'm not concerned about it. It's living with the pain that we all have, and it comes out in certain ways, and understanding sort of what the liturgy is. I'm using religious terms of this group, and that's
fine.
Paying attention to what's said.
Amen.
And how it's said. It's interesting.
Let's hope that in the next year you can get to a 6.
Well, I'm planning to get to a 2. Because I'm not stopping this group. I mean, I'm doing other things as well. So working on.
You guys remember this one? I'm going to bring
this. This is a rather high emotional plane. This week.
You're doing great, Michael. I'm going to bring this back onto the screen for a moment. I don't if we haven't done it for a long while. I'll do it very quickly as review. Is when you look at something, it's small, medium, large, SML, WPP, WPP. Should, might, like, want, plan, promise. Should I be kind to myself? Might I be kind to myself? I'd like to be kind to myself. I want to be kind to myself.
That's right. That's right.
I plan to be kind to myself. And you can hear in your own head where it breaks down.
Yeah.
I promise I'll be kind to myself. And not to enter into judgment with whichever stage you find yourself at.
Mm-hmm.
But just notice. Being kind to yourself. How many, I'm going to give these, how many are still at S? Should. Nobody here is going to admit to being at an S still? Yes, we got some hands, some honest people. How many of you are, I'm at, hey, you know what? I might be kind to myself. It's possible. This might be aspirational already. I want to be kind to myself. Hey, today's Saturday, the 23rd of April. I plan to be kind to myself today by fill in the blank.
2 p.m.
By 2 p.m. Hopefully you still have time. Good. Thank you for bringing us back to that, Michael. Anything else we want to share? What you want to commit to? Make a commitment to? Yeah, Rob, and then Joy.
So we need to lose all the words with dis.
Dis.
Disappoint.
Aha.
Being one of them.
As we should lose that. Amen. Joy, how about you? What do you say?
Well, I think my biggest one's been having to move away from Bigton and coming up to Lerwick and trying to be kind to myself, to make myself agree now that it is good.
Yeah,
and it's been very, very, very hard. That's why I'm fairly still up there, not come right down.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Al?
It's hard.
Yeah, Rabbi, you're probably going to kill me for saying this, but I'm going to commit to supporting this religion outside the box. I hope that more people do. I know it's important to you. I know it's important to me, and I want it to go on for a long time to come.
Yeah.
I thank you.
Me too.
Are you? I'm not. You're intimating towards fundraising. Why would I kill you for that? Al, I lost your video. I don't know. We lost you for a second.
Hold on. Yeah, it's because I know you. I know you can't.
Okay, so let me challenge accepted. I can deal with you. Hey, folks. This is also my job. This is part of my job. And
Amen.
And help. I love helping people. It's what I love to do. And if you can help me help people, that That's great. I also have, hold on, I want to show you this. If you make a donation now, what is that? Is that Barnes & Noble's website? Can it be pre-ordered?
Uh-oh.
It's a short, here, wait, I'm going to blow out the candles in a moment. But I want to show you, look, see that?
I suggest we do it now before the minute goes into something else.
All right, we're going to blow out the candles. Okay, everybody, you blow at the same time. Very COVID safe. 1, 2, 3. There we go. We'll do it. We'll do it again in third year. So look what came in the mail.
What is it?
Wow.
Oh.
It's a short. It's a short read of a. It's a pocketbook of 156 small pages, and it's me explaining how I got to be who I am today. It's quite well written, and I know other religious groups do this, so I got a bunch of proofs. Yay, proofs! Otherwise, you have to wait till May 1st. But if you make a donation today, I'll send you one of these. How's that? Keep in mind, I don't know how that thing works very well. If you live in Canada, make a larger donation because I got to post it to you there.
Here's the link to make a donation.
It's in the chat starting right now. Thank you, Alex.
Okay.
So what happens if you're in Shetland, Rob?
You're Shetland out of luck. No, I could send it to Shetland. Just whatever it is. Make sure you make enough. Make some sense for post. That
People are asking, are you going to personalize the book?
It's for an extra fee.
Like autograph it.
Yeah. So
for a little extra.
Yeah, make the donation seem reasonably large enough that would include ink. I'll tell you, let me be honest. Let me be very honest. What really helps the most are the monthly donations. The monthly donations to Religion Outside the Box make it so that I know what's coming in. And it keeps me, it's a lot less scary. So if you already have a monthly donation, up that monthly donation. I will see that and I'll send you a book. Or start a monthly donation. I would appreciate that. Al, how do you feel about that, man?
That sounds about right to me.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I promise we didn't set that one up because I still feel a little bit awkward and weird.
Yeah.
I'm glad I made you feel awkward.
Thank you. I have two random last thoughts that I want to share, but I don't really want to because they're like taking this in a different direction, and the group on Wednesday is going to be like, Brian, it was 8:58. And you had and they scare me.
Did you hear what Kip said? Kip said, "Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it, man. You told us to help you. Don't do it.
Do it.
I'm not. It's good to have accountability buddies.
Yeah.
So that all being said, thank you guys all for joining. Do tell your friends. I know it's weird to talk about a religious group at all, but just tell them. I don't know. Make something up, or just tell them the truth. Tell them the truth, and if they want to come, they'll come. That's it. We're going to stick around. Second hour is going to be going. I will be turning off the recordings. Hold on. Let me get this in the right order. I turn off the recording here first.